evening, and welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink. Or am I? You know, it's been a while since I've checked. Maybe I should just be sure here. Prove my credentials. Wait a minute. This says my name is Jerker McNutt. And I'm from Snorslida, Sweden. Oh, man. I don't feel Swedish. Hey, I guess you're always the last to know, huh? Larry, can I get a plate of pickled herring and an ABBA album, please? All right, well, thank you for joining us. Like I said, I am Jerker, and today we've got quite an episode for you. It's Friday night, as always. I hope you have a nice beverage on hand. I am super excited because in just a day and change, I will be attending Jeff Harper's Cleveland Comic Book and Nostalgia Festival. That's right, it's March 20th, folks, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, I'm told this is the place to be this Sunday if you like action figures, TV and movie memorabilia, and, of course, comics. Come on down and meet Jackson Arthur, Gary Dumm, Caleb Thusat, and maybe even Mike Jones. Oh yeah, and I'll be there too. It's the 42nd year, folks. You're not going to want to miss this one. If you've always wanted to come and meet the old guy, well, this is your opportunity. If I kick you out of the group and you want sweet, sweet revenge, well, this is your chance too. So, hey, I hope to see you there. It's only $5, and kids, well, you get in for free. Wait a minute. There shouldn't be kids watching this broadcast. Kids, get out of the room. You're going to get us all in trouble. All right, well, what do we got on the docket right off the bat? Hey, we have a new man. That is right, it is the Rocketeer, folks. Now, the Rocketeer has his origins in comic books, went on to become a bit of a film star, and has since moved into the iconography of the 20th century. His Art Deco design, his pulpy adventures, and, of course, the inclusion of Betty Page, the ever-lovely Miss Page, made the Rocketeer a must-read book in the 1980s. The Dave Stevens artwork was out of this world. Can't recommend it enough. The movie from the 1990s was also a blast. A little bit of a departure from the comic book, but nonetheless, very, very cool with some fantastic animation as well. And, well, folks have been waiting for a Rocketeer action figure for a long time. I think that back in the day, the closest you could get was maybe like a plastic thing filled with gumballs or something like that. But this is the real deal. It's an action figure from, you know it, baby, it's Mego Corps. Mego has been knocking them out of the park for the past couple years now. And this is a figure that they released a couple years ago. Actually, it says 2021, so I guess it was only 1 year ago. Boy, we've all aged quite a bit, haven't we? But I missed this one the first time around, like I said, so I was super happy to find it on the shelves of my local comic book shop. Say it with me now, Ides Entertainment in downtown Pittsburgh. So, he looks good on his card art. It's very smart. Once again, it's got that Art Deco design. Very eye-catching. Some of these cards can be on the bland side, but the minimalism works in this instance. On the back, we have a picture of the actor who played a Rocketeer, Cliff Secord. I don't remember this fellow's name. Maybe Larry can drop it in on the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much. And we have a little bit of information about Mego and the people who put this figure together. So, let's get it off the card. Oh, well, I don't seem to have forgot to bring Stabby on over. I don't really need him, I guess. It's nothing a judicious use of a fingernail can't accomplish. But hey, my fingernails don't have clever nicknames, now do they? Comes off just that easily, folks. And then you have your Rocketeer figure in a nice little clamshell to keep them from getting all banged up. Sending them overseas And then, well, let's get him out. It would appear that the rocket pack is, in fact, plasticed into this thing. So I really could have used Stabby after all. But that's all right. Once again, it's nothing we can't accomplish with a little bit of Mink magic. Oh, no, I'm sorry. McNut magic. And so Migo went with rubber bands to hold the rocket pack on, which I think might not be the best idea over the next couple of years, because this kind of stuff has a tendency to perish, and these are a little janky, to be sure. Doesn't even seem like it's tied in here right. One side is a good bit longer. So, I don't know, maybe if we tug a little bit. Tug a little bit to even them out. Y'all know what I'm saying, don't you? And then here's the Rocketeer himself. Sans jetpack. We'll put that on at the end in case something terrible happens. I wouldn't want this all to be a huge bring down. But he's got his faux leather coat. Or maybe it is real leather. Who can say? Could just be from a really cheap pig. And the buttons are painted on. Now, in the past, Migo has given us figures with little metal buttons or plastic buttons to represent metal. But I guess the idea was that, well, that would be a whole lot of little rivets to put on this guy. That could be very costly. And the nice thing about these figures is they're super affordable, unlike even the contemporary 6-inch figures, which are pushing past $25. These guys have stayed under the $20 price point for a good while. So cheers to you, Migo. Keep up the good work. In this economy, we could all use a little break. Now, as you can see, his jodhpurs, they only go down to there, and they seem to be pulling out of his pants. Now, back in the day, or out of his boots, rather. Back in the day, oh, what have I done? I moved his foot. Out of the day, Migo would have put like little stirrups on to keep these from riding up, because he's starting to look a little bit like Grandma. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll find some fix for that. Not over the moon about that, for sure. But let's get back to the coat here. You know, it's a nice design. It's not quite as represented in the film. Obviously, the buttons weren't painted on. And there was a collar, whereas this has more of a Nehru kind of collar thing going on, whereas the other one was more of a sort of leather jackety collar. But it's nice enough. Inhibits the arm movement a bit, as you'd expect. So getting his arms up over his head might require a bit of doing. Now here's another disappointing thing I'm noticing right off the bat. They did his body in flesh tone. Now, ordinarily that wouldn't be a problem, but when you have a figure that is going to be assuming a position like this, and you're going to have this pull on the fabric, well, you want a little bit of consistency there, and for him to have these black hands and then the flesh showing, that's a drag too, I gotta say. Now maybe if you were to work with it a little bit, you might be able to get these into some reasonable position, but another concern is if you were to do this and then leave it like that, eventually this stuff will start to wear, and it'll actually crumple and crack a bit. So the neutral position is usually the best for these guys for long-term display. For action figure photos, obviously, do what you gotta do. I'm certainly not going to tell you how to take care of your toys. Or not take care of them, as the case may be. But yeah, like I said, this right here is a major deal breaker, because I can't even touch his leg without this happening, and this is stupid. Once again, if they molded the whole body in black plastic, it'd be a little less noticeable. It wouldn't be great, but that's a bummer. All right, but the helmet looks pretty good. Now, according to the card art, there's an additional ridge. and I'm not really quite sure why that was skipped, if actually there's some inconsistency with the card art and the comic book. It's been a while since I've seen it, but otherwise, helmet looks good. Has kind of a Doctor Who sort of feel. Very minimal paint work, but decent enough sculpt. Got an unfortunate little bit of gold paint on the eye there, but otherwise decent enough for what it is. But yeah, I gotta say that this is a figure that looks better in the package, for sure. Getting them out of the package reveals some very definite flaws, ones that you might be able to address yourself. We haven't even tried to put on his rocket pack yet, so I don't know. You want to stay tuned for that? See this thing break completely and watch tears come to the eyes of a grown man.
Several minutes later.
All right, so you know how I just said that Mego saves a few bucks in production and passes it on to you, the consumer? Well, this is how they do it. I gotta say that this method of attaching the rocket pack to the figure, not so good. The rubber bands are under a tremendous amount of tension. This is causing them to dig into the leather jacket, which can cause creasing, eventual ripping. Don't like that. And not to mention they're under a tremendous amount of pressure, which is going to lead to stretching, which is going to lead to the plastic breaking. So, not a great design, absolutely. The whole time I was trying to attach it, the plastic band threatened to come out. It was just a crummy process, and it's not necessarily even the best result. You could have accomplished that by simply putting a little latch on the rocket pack and a little hole in the back of the jacket. So I'm going to attempt to replace this in time with a little bit of leather strapping. I think that'll be much better and probably more consistent with how it appears in the film. So this one, well, it didn't exactly knock it out of the park, but as they say, they can't all be Maseratis, can they? Oh, hey, and it looks like we haven't said hello to Naked Woody Harrelson. What's he got going on? Appears he's doing a love that Joker kind of thing. Tribute to the Batman, perhaps, the success of that film. Very notable at the box office at the moment. He's wearing the purple tux jacket with the tails. And he's got his cane. He's even got the green hair. Wait a minute. Were you just dressed up for St. Patrick's Day? I guess we'll never know, huh? But yeah, it's great to be joined by him. And if you want to meet Naked Woody Harrelson, well, he'll be at the show this Sunday as well. So make sure you come on down if you've ever wanted to talk to a grown man in a naked action figure. Well, this is your chance. For sure. All right, so it is Old Guys Who Like Old Comics, and we do have some comics to show you. I was liking this particular book when I found that it's Fantasy Masterpieces starring the Silver Surfer. And then we have some Marvel fanfare. And in our previous episode, I picked up issue 1 of Marvel fanfare, and we've jumped all the way to 47. But still a Spidey story. Hey, I guess they know who puts the wheat cakes on the table, huh? And here is Spidey facing down against the Hulk, apparently who was infected by some sort of alien virus in this issue. I skimmed it briefly. Some very nice artwork there. There's Nick Fury and, what is that, Countessa Vanessa? And then here's Marvel Tales, starring Spider-Man. Classic Lee Ditko issue. I've always liked this cover because, man, talk about making the point. You know, Ditko could really convey emotion, even with a character with no facial features to show. You know that Spidey, he's just not feeling this fight. This is a great issue. Happy to have a reprint of it. And then, speaking of reprints, this is pretty cool. It's a Marvel premiere featuring the Legion of Monsters. This is the Marvel Milestones reprint of that particular issue. And we also get a Spider-Man and Brother Voodoo story and a Dracula story, as seen on the back here. Now, my previous copy of Marvel Premiere and the Legion of Monsters looked like this. So this is definitely an upgrade, for sure. It's got a slight bit of water ripple, which is unfortunate, but hey, what are you going to do, huh? Maybe I'll take up pressing comics. And then here he is, that man Flint. And this was Moonstone's attempt to move the Flint property into contemporary times, or at least keep things going. I'm a big James Coburn fan, have been for many a year now, and so I thought, hey, I'd give this a chance. Missed it the first time around, and the writing seems fun, breezy, light. The artwork kind of hit or miss. I'm not sure whether they could get Coburn's likeness or not, or whether the artist simply couldn't capture, well, that indelible Coburn charisma. Gosh, I know that would be difficult to do with something as primitive as a pencil and ink. Then we have Battle for Three-Dimensional World. And this is Jack Kirby, baby. That is right. 3D Collector's Edition. Jack Kirby artwork, and it even has the glasses. How nifty is this? The answer is very. Put on your 3D glasses and see me in 3D. It's Staron, master of time and space. And yes, he does look a little familiar, but don't dwell on that, folks. I'm certainly not going to. And then I was really happy to pick this book up. I've been looking for this one for a while. Very elusive. And then we have Captain Victory. Here's some more late period Kirby. Captain Victory and the Galactic Rangers. This is Volume 2. Captain Victory had finished its previous run, but they were carrying the story forward. This is notable for being in black and white. Not a problem for you Kirby aficionados or kids like me with colored pencils. Then we have some Archie comics. It's a very striking cover. Oh, very beautiful German Fräulein. Hello, I am Swiss. It's got some great Harry Lucy artwork on the inside, most notably this Archie BC story. These are always a lot of fun and well worth the price of admission. And here's a nice early Jughead as well. And on the back we have Rudolph selling you a cadet bicycle speedometer. Is Rudolph really the one that you want selling you biking equipment? I mean, he can fly, can't he? I mean, you know, I can see Santa doing it. He's got something to lose if his fat ass falls off a bike. But Rudolph, come on. Here's an early representation of Ethel, and dear Lord, apparently Lon Chaney was the model for this in Phantom of the Opera. Wow, no wonder he's running, huh? They've softened Ethel quite a bit recently, but, you know, accept no substitutes. The early Ethel is the one to go with. And then here's a cute little cover, Archie's Joke Book. These are all right. I enjoy them, pick them up when the price is right. And every once in a while, well, I'll get lucky and get a little midge. A smidge of midge, if you will. And then here's some more. Here's Betty exhibiting that nice psychotic behavior that we love so much. This issue kept me company at the bus stop the other day. It's No Man Meets the Tarantula. And right off the bat, I gotta say, he wasn't green on the inside, and there was no reason for him not to be green. You know, if you're gonna make him green on the cover, go all the way. You know what I mean? You got my quarter. All right? You know, so we don't got to worry about, make it realistic. Make him, Caucasian, a nice Caucasian man with 4 arms. No. If pitch me the spider, make him green or purple and green. That always works, doesn't it? Ask Atlas Comics. And then here's a nice replica of American Comics Group Skeleton Hand, #1. Now, I've seen this cover a number of times, and I was really delighted. I was over the moon, if you will, to pick this particular book up. Can't wait to check it on out. And then on the back, well, here's an advertisement for Herbie. So I guess it's not strictly a replica, but it seems like the insides may be close. So, we'll see. And then here's some Basil Wolverton's Fantastic Fables. And this is a knockout. This is one of two. And this actually features some of Basil Wolverton's art from the, Revelations. The book, the prophecies of the book of Revelations. And, man, mind-blowing stuff, for sure. Happy to add that to the archive. And then we have another issue of Pure Images. I've been picking these up. I had no idea this title even existed, but every issue is a delight. Basically, this is the premiere issue, and it's telling you the birth of Spider-Man. And I was sold right from the jump just by flipping it open and seeing this Kirby artwork, a tribute to Steve Ditko. There he is, Sturdy Steve, being carried away by one of his most famous co-creations. In the course of my adventures, I stumbled across another issue of Roarin' Rick's Rare Bit Fiends, Rick Vedich's dream comic, featuring, in this issue, John Lennon. Then here's some Space Hawk. That is right, it's Basil Wolverton's powerful, mysterious man from outer space. What a dynamic cover that is, huh? Make a great poster. Absolutely. Turn on the black light. And then these are also in black and white, but, that's not a deal breaker when you get classic stories like Space Hawk and the Creeping Death from Neptune. And then here's some more Fat Dog Mendoza, baby. That is right. I'm well on my way to completing my Fat Dog Mendoza collection, Scott Musgrove's greatest creation yet. And it looks like Fat Dog, well, he's gone on a diet. Or maybe he just can't afford food anymore. I mean, who can? Here's Michael T. Gilbert's Mr. Monster. This is from the character's Dark Horse run, and if you missed it the first time, it's well worth checking out. And then we have some Craig Yo reprints. Pre-code horror, it's haunted horror. And this is the cover of Mask Comics #1, originally. Beautiful art by L.B. Cole. And then here's some weird Men of Mystery. Speaking of pre-code horror, it's the special Halloween issue. And who's here to make it special? Why, no one less than Vincent Price, the Pricester. Then we have a few more Herbie reprints. Y'all know that I'm a big Herbie fan, so I've been happy to pick these up as well. These are in black and white, but until I can pick up the Dark Horse editions, which are lovely hardbound cover copies of all of the books in archive form, well, these'll do, pig. These'll do. And then, here's a curiosity to say the least. It's the Space Giants. Special promo edition. This is number 433 of 500. Wow, talking about cutting it close, huh? But apparently this is a comic book perpetuation of the film War of the Space Giants. There's our colorful cast and the artwork. Sort of an ash can kind of thing going on there. Looking pretty interesting. Love those curiosities. And then, hey, it's The Curse of the Mole Men. Charles Burns, ladies and gentlemen, featuring Big Baby. There he is. And eagle-eyed viewers will recognize this issue from an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Speaking of gray comics, here's issues 2 and 3 of Mr. Monster Attacks. I showed you number 1 in last episode. And they go all out. They even give us these dynamic covers. Now, I've seen this one before. I have it on the cover of a British magazine, if I'm not mistaken. And this is very nice. Which one of you is Stern? Him. And here's a part of the Atlas Comics revival. It's Phoenix. Not much came of these, unfortunately. They've tried to kickstart Atlas a couple times. There's even rumors that there's more to come, but I'll believe it when I see it. Speaking of believing it when you see it, here's Herbie, guest starring with the Flaming Carrot. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Bob Burden always delivers the goods. Then we have some Deep Dimension Horror. These are American Comics Group's reprints with black borders to create a startling 3D effect. And then Milk and Cheese, folks. I've been finishing up my run, finding these. This is Milk and Cheese. Third #1 and second issue. So we're well on our way. Now, I have all of these in a trade paperback, but last time my kid came over, they read them. They were delighted. So I'm going to throw that book their way and just have the floppies for myself. Now, here's a copy of Bizarre Adventures number 34. Never had the opportunity to read this, but I've always been compelled by the cover. Big pre-code horror fan, obviously, so this looks like it delivers the goods. It's not for kiddies. We mean it. And then here's some vintage sci-fi action. They're Golden Age greats. Another snappy run of black and white reprints from You Know It. That's Bill Black and Fiction House. And wrapping things up with his black and white anthology of pre-code horror, They Came from the 50s. All right. Well, that's the pile for sure. I'm Jerker McNutt. And if you're in Cleveland this weekend, come on down and see the show. It's a dynamo.